Please, sir, buy my toy.
Hey, look at me. You don't have to be afraid anymore.
Promise?
I swear it. You're safe with me now, Sewa.
Okay.
Why?
The screech of brakes could have woken the dead. Mr. Adeyemi sat in the back of his black Mercedes, eyes fixed on the stock market numbers glowing on his phone screen. Numbers were all he saw anymore, billions flowing in and out of accounts like water through a sieve. He barely noticed when his driver, Marcus, had turned onto the Lagos road that afternoon. The sun hung heavy in the sky, turning everything gold and dangerous. Another deal closing. Another zero added to the account. Another reason to feel nothing at all. Then came a sound. Metal screaming. A woman's distant shout. The car lurched so violently that Mr. Adeyemi's phone flew from his hands and clattered against the window. His body slammed forward, then back, and for one suspended moment, the moment when anything could have changed forever, time itself seemed to hold its breath. Marcus had his foot hard on the brake pedal, his knuckles white around the steering wheel. His jaw clenched so tight you could see the muscle working beneath his dark skin. What happened? Mr. Adeyemi's voice cut through the silence, sharp and dangerous. He was a man used to being obeyed, used to having answers. Ignorance infuriated him. Marcus didn't answer immediately. His eyes were locked forward, unblinking, staring at something in the road ahead. When he finally turned to look at his employer, something in his expression had changed. Fear. Pure, undiluted fear. Sir, I almost... He swallowed hard. There was a child. A child. Mr. Adeyemi's stomach tightened. He pushed forward, pressing his face toward the window, his reflection staring back at him from the glass. A man with sharp features, cold eyes, and skin the color of burnt amber. His custom-tailored suit suddenly felt suffocating. He rolled down the window and leaned out. And then he saw her. She stood in the middle of the road, frozen. Small. Impossibly small. Her frame was thin. Not the thin of childhood, but the thin of hunger, the thin of missing meals, the thin that spoke of survival rather than living. Her skin was dark, rich as mahogany, stretched tight over small bones. She wore what had once been a dress, now reduced to a patchwork of faded fabric held together more by prayer than seams. Holes gaped at the shoulders. The hem dragged in the dust. But it was her face that stopped Mr. Adeyemi's breath. Her eyes were enormous, dark pools that seemed to contain entire universes of feeling. They were fixed on him with the clarity of someone who had seen too much too young. Her mouth hung open, forming a shape that might have been fear or determination. In her small, trembling hands, she held something aloft, a rag doll, its stuffing spilling out like guts, one button eye hanging by a thread. Please, sir, the girl's voice cracked across the distance between them, thin and desperate as a bird's cry. Please, sir, buy my toy. The absurdity of it, the sheer impossibility. This child, this tiny human, had thrown herself into the path of a moving car to sell a doll that wasn't even worth the fabric it was made from. Something in Mr. Adeyemi's chest twisted, a sensation he hadn't felt in years. Not anger, not annoyance, something deeper, something that burned. Marcus was already out of the car, his dark face twisted with rage. You stupid child, what are you doing? Do you want to die? His hand was raised, fingers curled, ready to strike. Ready to teach this small creature a lesson about traffic laws and common sense. Stop. Mr. Adeyemi's word hung in the humid air like a command from God himself. Marcus froze, his hands suspended in the space between them and the girl. Don't you dare touch her. Mr. Adeyemi opened his door and stepped out onto the cracked asphalt. The heat hit him immediately, brutal and unforgiving, pressing down on his shoulders like a physical weight. The smell of diesel fuel and dust filled his nostrils. Around them, the world moved on. A few pedestrians had stopped, forming a loose circle at what had almost been a tragedy. A street vendor with a cart of roasted corn paused, watching. A woman carrying a basket of tomatoes on her head slowed her pace. The girl didn't move. She stood there, arms still raised, the doll trembling in her grip. Mr. Adeyemi walked toward her slowly. With each step, he noticed more details. The dust on her skin. The way her ribs were visible beneath the thin fabric of her dress. The scar on her left knee, old and pale. Her bare feet, small and calloused, with dirt embedded under the nails. He stopped a few feet away from her and crouched down, bringing his 6-foot frame down to her eye level. His expensive suit creased at the knees. A diamond cufflink caught the sunlight and threw it back in fragments. "What is your name?" His voice came out different than he intended. Softer, almost gentle. The girl's eyes searched his face, as if trying to determine whether this was a trick, whether kindness from a man in a suit and car was something to believe in or fear. Her lower lip trembled slightly. "Sewa," she whispered. "My name is Sewa. And how old are you, Sewa?" 6. She held up one hand with 5 fingers extended, then added a 6th finger on the other hand. A child's way of counting. Concrete and clear. "I am 6 years old." 6 years old, and she was already a salesman. Already desperate. Already willing to die for a doll. Why? The question burned in Mr. Adeyemi's mind, urgent and demanding an answer. "Where's your mother, Sewa? Where's your family?" The girl's face crumpled. Her chin trembled. The doll drooped in her hands, and for a moment Mr. Adeyemi thought she might collapse right there on the hot asphalt. She lifted one small hand and pointed toward the side of the road, toward the cluster of makeshift shelters and informal structures that lined the edge of the city like wounds. Mr. Adeyemi looked in that direction, and his breath caught. He could not believe what he saw. "Hey guys, kindly take a second to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Doing this seems simple, but it means a lot to me. Thank you." Now back to what happened. There, slumped against a corrugated metal wall, sat a woman. She was impossibly thin, thinner even than Sewa. Her skin had taken on a grayish hue, the color of something fading away. Her head was covered with a cloth, and her shoulders shook with a wet, violent cough that seemed to rack her entire body. Even from this distance, Mr. Adeyemi could see the way she gripped her chest, the way her whole frame convulsed with the effort of breathing. The sound of that cough reached him across the distance, harsh and wet and wrong. And something inside Mr. Adeyemi broke. It was a crack so sudden, so violent, that he actually gasped for breath. A memory surfaced, unwanted and fierce. His own mother, 25 years ago, coughing into a cloth. His own mother, thin as paper, lying on a mat in a room, so small you could touch both walls if you stretched your arms. His own mother, whispering to him that everything would be okay, even as her eyes grew dimmer and dimmer. His own mother dying. Mr. Adeyemi stood up abruptly, his hands clenching at his sides. His vision blurred. When he blinked, moisture spilled down his cheeks, tears, hot and unexpected and furious. "What is your mother's name?" His voice was rough now, scraped raw. "Amara," Sewa said softly. "Her name is Amara. She is sick, very sick," the doctor said. The girl paused, searching for words beyond her years. "The doctor said she needs medicine. But medicine costs money. And we don't have." She trailed off, her eyes filling with tears of her own. Mr. Adeyemi didn't let her finish. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his wallet, a leather thing thick with cards and cash, the wallet of a man who had never needed to count his money. He extracted 5 crisp notes, each worth more than most people in this area made in a month. He pressed them into Sewa's small hand. "This is not for the doll," he said quietly. "This is for your mother's medicine." Sewa's eyes widened until they seemed to take up half her face. She stared at the money in her palm as if it might vanish, as if it might be a dream or a trick. Her mouth moved, but no sound came out. "Come." Mr. Adeyemi turned back toward the Mercedes. "Both of you, get your mother. We are going to the hospital." "But sir, we can't," Sewa's small voice quavered. "Now," Mr. Adeyemi said, and there was something in his tone that made even Marcus obey without question, scrambling to help the small girl while Mr. Adeyemi himself moved toward the woman by the wall. As he approached her, Amara looked up. Her eyes were huge in her skeletal face, filled with a terrible mixture of hope and fear. The cough seized her again, doubling her over, and Mr. Adeyemi felt the tremors of it pass through her frame as he gently helped her to her feet. She was so light. That was what struck him most. So impossibly light, as if illness had hollowed her out and left only a shell. "It's going to be okay," Mr. Adeyemi heard himself say, and he meant it. Every word of it burned with a promise he intended to keep. But as he helped her toward the car, he didn't notice the way Marcus's eyes narrowed slightly. Didn't see the quick calculation happening behind his driver's gaze. Didn't know that this moment, this one moment of compassion on a Lagos road, was about to unravel something far more dangerous than he could possibly imagine. Something that had been hidden in his own life, waiting in the shadows. Something that was about to demand a price he never expected to pay. If you're touched by this video, Take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel because I would be posting more interesting content you would love.